Looks like we're finally good to go. Folks, welcome for race number 2 of the F2 Championship at the Bwoah Racing League, hosted by RoadRunnerRacingCo Esports. It's me, Sarthak, in the Cosbox alongside Dalvin and Richard Saho, who will be bouncing off through the VCs of the teams. What's up, Dalvin?
I'm good. Sunday afternoon, evening, tea time, and a race. While feeling our boredom from the long summer break, got some races for you all. Let's go.
Yeah. The KDB's on pole position. Qualifying's done. A pity we couldn't show that to the folks who've been waiting. But yeah, the rookies don't fail to impress. Clearly, Dark Legacy being 4th fastest out there. We might just see him finishing first in one of the races today.
I hope so. It's about time these rookies step up a bit more from the previous race. So Austria was the first one, probably some notes coming in, and second race is probably will calm down a bit more. Here we go. Formation lap begins, and our pole position goes to none other than KDB himself, and Mr. Vex lines up alongside him. And the second row goes to SV11 and Dark Legacy. Ugly Ready and Baby Shumi lines up on the third row. Smoke and Gambler takes up the 4th row. Big Man Joe takes up P9. Harry Rocks was disqualified in qualifying for running out of track limits, getting an invalidated time, puts him in P10. RB Fellow, late to join the lobby, he will start in the last position. However, it's 16 laps from here. Bahrain short. It may look short, but 16 laps in these cars. What do you reckon about what's going to happen?
Well, I'm gonna say we're gonna see quite the order shift, aren't we? We see RB Ferrero starting from P11 at the back. He's known to be the man who starts from the last and ends in the front, top 3 at least in BRL. We saw that happen in season 4, and I won't be surprised if I see it happen now today at Bahrain short.
Yeah, you know what they say, when you're starting last, the only place you can go is forward. Unless you don't want to jinx it.
Of course.
We're not going to say it. Probably not.
Well,
let's hope RB Fellow has a good fight back from the back. Harry Rocks as well. And look at Joe. Casual city Joe. Probably pretty fast. Maybe looking to get some more things done as well.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? 3 of the rookies out on track. They're all ahead of the likes of Gambler, Big Man Joe, Hyrox 24, and RB Ferrero. Mind you, 2 of them at least are super quick drivers, and not to take anything away from Gambler and Hyrox 24 as well. They're fast on the days that they really put the effort to be. But it's great to see the likes of Wex and SV11 right up there in top 3. SV11, someone who's had a series of bad starts in the league, be it F2 or even F1. We don't see him have the greatest of days here in the league, but looks like things might have just taken a turn for good this time around.
Let's hope so. And Ilya lining up for the grid. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 lights. And away we go. There goes the good launch for KDB. Takes the lead into P1, keeps it. And a bit of a carnage going on at the back. RB Farlow gets into an incident.
Yeah, cool.
We have some drama.
Yeah, quite the carnage. In fact, in turn 1 as well, I saw a couple of cars going over the curbs. It was almost a disaster, and SV11's part of it. It's disappointing to see, but like I mentioned earlier on, starts for SV11 have been bad and continue to be bad. Virtual safety cars out on track, and yeah, by the looks of it, we haven't faced any casualties yet. We've got all 11 cars out on track. We will see a bunch of them head into the pits, but yeah, sad to see SV11 back down the order again.
Good thing though, it is the virtual safety car, so a bit of time to calm down the nerves before the race ensues. But how long though? This medium tires may last pretty long here. RB Fellow on the hard, probably looking to attack very late into the race. We look out for him. He's fast now, he may be faster again. Gambler, unfortunate to pick up a driving penalty for speeding under VSC. That's going to set him back. And he's probably going to serve it immediately and start heading on speed.
Yeah, clearly. And give me a second. I'm trying to fix something, but virtual safety car is done.
On Mr. Vex into turn 1, gets the move done around the inside. Ludwig though not giving up, the rookie challenges the pro here.
We'll be right back.
Good old Bobby Bucks are back. We are in lap 3 as the game is, however, we're just starting on lap 2.
Yeah. Give me a second, Dalvin, if you can hear me. You'll have to continue with audio only because I got to switch from stream to a slight pause as I fix something on my end.
Alright, Satak, no worries. I'll take over from there. And Dark Legacy here gets a move done on Mr. Vex onto P4. And there's a train forming from P3 down to P6 and 7. A lot of ding-dong battle going on. Side by side, Ludwig ready, Mr. Vex and Dark Legacy. KDB up front, takes the lead, goes for it, and stays in pole. Ludwig ready overtakes Mr. Vex and side by side into turn 1. Mr. Vex rides the curb and Dark Legacy goes around the outside. Clean move. Ludwig ready up into P2. Dark Legacy takes the P3. Mr. Vex lives to fight another day. Harry Rocks meanwhile runs wide and Smoke takes advantage and goes up into P5.
Hey Dalvin, a little bit of update from the start. Before I do that, there is some disturbance from your side in the stream, I think. So if you can fix that, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, it should be solved now.
That I will update that start. So, well, it turns out that it was carnage at the back as we saw. And the two drivers who got an enormous amount of wheel spin were, I think, Baby Shumi and yeah, like I forgot about the other one. But yeah, they got a very bad start. And what happened in the pits, the reason SV has retired is because Gamler, who has joined the same team, Gamler was serving his penalty and SV also had a penalty to serve. And they both entered the pits at exactly the same time, and yep, as
pretty unfortunate start there. Alright, please let me know if the stream is working on Discord. Fixed it, should be good. And folks, please bear with us while we're having some technical difficulties. It is a Sunday after all. Sometimes things tend to act up. Back on track though, KDB in the lead and pulling away. Ludwig ready, doesn't want to give up, keeps his P2. Mr. Vex right on his gearbox into the last corner. Dark Legacy as well, forming a train from P2 to P4. This is going for it. As well, we have some technical difficulties. It is Sunday. Good exit for Dark Legacy, gets a jump onto Mr. Vex even before the start finish straight, gets the DRS and gets a slingshot into turn 1, side by side, 3 wide into turn 1. These boys are gonna have a tight one into turn 1. They make it out just barely. Everyone's safe and sound through turn 2 and 3. Dark Legacy keeps the P2. Mr. Vex and I'm ready live to fight another corner, another lap. Battle is heating up for P2 here. In the meantime, up front, KDB does KDB things and pulls away. Slightly behind the grid, RB Farrello in P6. He's catching up to Smoke. Looks like it might be just a bit of a glitch in the system as well. The game, as always, likes to bug out and we do not get the right positions. However, it looks like from the onboards, RB Farrello is and Mr. Vex jumps the gun and is the first one into the pits, but picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. That will cost him at the end of the race. That will give the buffer to Dark Legacy and Ludwig Ready. Ludwig Ready also jumps into the pit lane, reacting to Mr. Vex. It's gonna be a stop and a change of wing for Mr. Wex here. It's a wing change for Advik Reddy. Mr. Wex just does the tire change and gets out way ahead of Advik Reddy. Advik now is done with the pit stop. He's going to be a few way off. As we ride on board with Dark Legacy, who is in P2, will react to the undercut from Mr. Wex and Advik Reddy. It's looking like the tires are going off very quickly. He's understeering everywhere. 2 more corners to go. Can he make it into the pits safe and sound? Meanwhile, behind him, Mr. Vex on the fresh hearts is looking to get some work done and get the undercut done on Dark Legacy. Dark Legacy now reacts and jumps into the pits. No penalty for him. That's great to see. Smoke responds as well, jumps into the pits now. It's all kicking off now in the pits. And let's ride on board with Mr. Vex, who's coming around the last corner here. Can he make the undercut work? Did he have a good enough outlap here? It looks like he might just be a bit too far from Dark Legacy. Very close into turn 1. He will have the warmer tires. He will have the grip to get it done. Dark Legacy runs wide. Mr. Vex gets the cutback. Almost gets the move done. Now he will get the DRS. Mr. Vex down the inside. Dark Legacy runs wide onto the back straight here. Mr. Vex is not going to waste any more time and he's going to go for the move now and then itself. Dark Legacy defends the inside. Mr. Vex, a mild tap on the gearbox just to give him a nudge and say, hey, I'm here. And slightly behind, Harry Rocks and Advik Reddy are fighting for P5 and 6. Both of them on their fresh hearts as well. Advik Reddy, he made the undercut to cover from Mr. Vex and also from Dark Legacy. However, he had a wing change. Now he is battling for P5.
Another small update from this side. There is Smoke, as you can see, is currently P7. Well, he was actually quite high up in the standing, but he had an incident with Harry, which made both of them pit, and Smoke actually had a wing change, which made his pit stop delayed. So, yep.
All right, that looks like a compromise race for Smoke. However, 9 laps to go, still a lot can happen. Will he have the pace though to catch up to the guys in front? RB Ferlo has made a pit stop and he's onto the fresh set of mediums here. So he will be the fastest man on track. Let's see if he can make up some positions. Perhaps a top 5, top 4 finish. And just before that, let's get back to the battle between Mr. Vex and Dark Legacy here. Mr. Vex very close to Dark Legacy. Gets a wider line into the last corner. Gets a good cutback. Gets a good traction out of the corner. And he's definitely looking to get the move done. Dark Legacy defends the racing line, forcing Mr. Vex to the outside. This battle is going, and Dark Legacy is not giving up. He's going around the outside at turn 1. But he's a little too far. They almost tap, but good space left between these two racers. Nice and clean racing going on here, folks. Onto the back straight now is Dark Legacy's turn to enjoy the DRS. And this battle seems to be going on for ages now. All the while, KDB up front is extending his lead in comfort. He has made his pit stop and he's finally out on the hards as well. It looks like it's going to be another comfortable win for KDB, but P2 up for grabs between these two. Dark Legacy in the DRS, in the slipstream of Mr. Vex. He's not going to let this go. Mr. Vex has to find another way to defend his position. Force Dark Legacy wide. These two are just swapping positions left, right and center every lap. This time Mr. Vex gets a slightly better exit onto the pit straight. Dark Legacy is closing in. He goes for a dive down the inside into turn 1. Runs wide into turn 1. Dark Legacy gets the cut back into turn 2. However, that's not much space left. It is the short layout, so there's not enough runoff, not enough track for you to continue carrying the momentum into the next corner. Mr. Vex falls slightly behind with a poor exit. Dark Legacy gets a bit of a breather now.
And on the 10th lap, Dalvin, I'm finally back, having solved pretty much all the issues that existed. And yep, we're good to go. What have I missed?
Oh,
quite a bit.
What have you missed? Oh, Advik Reddy had a pit stop and had a wing change. He was in contention for the P2 position with Dark Legacy and Mr. Vex.
Alright.
And unfortunately, after that pit stop with wing change, Advik is down in P6, battling Harry Rocks for P5.
Yeah. And we see the gaps extend even more as we head on to lap number 11. It's great to see Dark Legacy's move on Mr. Wex. I was there for that. Just kept it on the low. I mean, brilliant move being done by the rookie of the league.
One of the many moves that happened while you were away. And I think we're going to see a bit more coming in the next few laps. Mr. Vex and Dark Legacy swap positions once again.
Brilliant.
As the tires start to feel second hand a bit over here. Grip may be an expense here.
Yeah, but on the main straight, RB Ferrello is closing in on the rookie Smoke. He's got the slipstream he needs as well. So we should see turn 1, an easy pass onto Smoke by RB Ferrello. Last to first, not quite working in his favor, and make sure that move sticks. But up in a P7 regardless.
RB Ferrello, he is on the mediums.
Smoke's off and back on track. However, looks like he had quite the struggle going into turn 1. But yeah, RB Ferrello's pulled away.
5 laps to go. RB Ferrello will need to stretch these mediums till the end. He will be fast now. However, he will be victim to the guys behind who are on pressure mediums and pressure hards.
Yep.
Dark Legacy and Mr. Vex giving us another treat. This time Mr. Vex a little too far to make the dive into turn 1. Perhaps looking for another avenue or another lap to make the move.
We can expect great battles between these two going in the penultimate and final laps. But look at the lead KDB's built. 10-second gap to our Dark Legacy.
Yep, and extending. It's not going down at all. This two fighting is giving KDB an opportunity to pull away.
Brilliant stuff. And I'm curious, how did SV11 end up retiring from the session?
Yeah, there was an incident at the start, and looks like SV was serving a penalty. Something happened, and
unfortunate.
Unlucky. Yeah, it all happened in turn 1, in lap 1.
Yeah, it was quite the disaster in going into turn 1. Even before turn 1, some of them barely reached turn 1. But yeah, the battle presumes between Dark Legacy and Mr. Wex. Great to see Big Man Joe having climbed into 4th place. And with penalties on the board, I just wonder if he can nab that podium position off of Wex.
Dark Legacy and Mr. Wex just a little too far to make the move just yet.
Seems like a podium might be on the cards for Big Man Joe, Dalvin.
Yep. He did make an early stop though, so he may have to extend his tires till the end. However, he is closing up. The guys up ahead battling. It's giving him some opportunity to catch up.
Yep, for sure. As long as he keeps it within 2 seconds of Mr. Wex, he should have a short podium in the feature race. Sector 1 lights up yellow. And looks like it's a pink car. Baby Shumi has issues, I presume. A slight bit of spin.
He ran wide into the back straight. That's unfortunate. But he gets back on track, safe and sound. And now he has to deal with the lap cars. Or he is being lapped, so Advik Reddy and RB Fellow are coming around to lap him. So he has to make way for them.
Meanwhile, Dark Legacy had a bad exit into the final corner, and he's given up position to Mr. Wex.
And Big Man Joe sniffs a P2 or a P3 coming up. Yeah. It's gonna be the final 3 laps of the race.
Definitely, and Dark Legacy trying his best to keep his car as close to Vex as possible, but Vex seems to be pulling away. Big Man Joe not closing in as much. I think he's biding his time. I think he wants to play cool after losing out on that possible victory in Abu Dhabi in Season 4. He's possibly being a little conservative now and taking his time, looking at things, let things play out in front of him, and he's set for a podium regardless.
Yep. Although he is on 11 laps all hearts, so that might be playing into the situation that we are seeing here. He might be losing on tires. However, the two guys up front, they are very relentless on their battles, and he's just inviting Big Man Joe into the fight, and he is not going to let go of it. Now finally within DRS, it's a train, P2 to P4, penultimate lap. It's going to kick off. Who is going to finish in P2 on track? Who's going to take it home after the penalties?
The way it looks with Dark Legacy on the tail of Mr. Vex, Vex may not even get a podium here tonight. With the switchback, Dark Legacy is up in a... Vex stays P2 and Dark Legacy is running P3. Big Man Joe lost a bit of time going through turn 1 and 2. And on the penultimate lap, KDB leads with an incredible gap of 13 seconds.
And setting fastest lap in the time.
Yeah, incredible stuff from KDB as always. And the race continues for P2 and P3 positions. Big Man Joe falling in terms of time towards Dark Legacy. And the battle between Vex and Dark Legacy continues.
Last lap to go. Dark Legacy gets the DRS onto Mr. Vex. However, the shot seems to be... Oh, Big Man Joe gets disqualified from the race from failing to use the two metric tie compounds. Oh, Big Man Joe. That is an unseen circumstance, and that has disqualified him from P4, potentially a podium as well. And he's out of the race.
I wonder if he had a glitch where it said he had made the pit stop. There's a chance this game, anything's possible. But yeah, the battle between P2 and P3 continues as KDB enters sector 3. I don't think any of us are surprised, but one thing's for sure, the surprising part is definitely that gap he's built, probably of 14 seconds as he comes around the final corner to win yet another feature race in the Bwoah Racing League F2 Championship. KDB wins the feature race of Bahrain Short Circuit GP. And Vex and Dark Legacy, the battle continues. Dark Legacy won't win it on track, won't get P2 on track, but will stay close enough to get that P2 finish for himself in the feature race. Vex wraps up the podium in P3. What could have been for Big Man Joe?
What could have been?
Just a small update from Big Man Joe's side. Just spoke to him. He did pit. He did start on mediums and he did box in lap 1 from medium to hards. But there has been something very wrong with this game.
Called it.
That's unfortunate. Yes, as we remember on the starts, there was only one guy on the hard tires, and that wasn't Big Man Joe. So which means the game has done him dirty. Codemasters, come on.
Fortunate. Oh, but what a drive by the likes of Dark Legacy and Mr. Vex, right? They had quite the battles. Quite the battles, and driver of the day goes to Hyrox24. Again, take it with a bit of salt considering there are only 11 drivers out on track, but nothing to take from him. A brilliant race from his side as well. But yeah, Dark Legacy, clearly impressive race on race, isn't he?
Yep.
Yep, brilliant stuff. KDB wins yet another race and on to the sprint
race after this.
Brilliant.
As Sarthak, you had clearly mentioned, will this race be the race for the rookies? And I think it has played off, at least in the feature. So let's see what happens at this point.
Indeed, Dark Legacy coming home to take the P2. Advig ready. The other rookie comes home in P4 after a messy start, but made up a lot of positions. Starting from P5, he made up one position though, but Harry Rocks, RB Farlow making up a lot of positions, 5 positions each to finish P5 and 6 respectively. And on to the next race, the sprint race. Let's go.
Yep, the top 8 will be reversed, which means KDB finds himself starting in P8, P7 Dark Legacy, and P6 Mr. Wex. In my opinion, Mr. Wex possibly can expect a great result, considering he's used to starting in the top 6 more often than not, usually in 5th and 6th. So yeah, a promising race from his side, I'm sure. But then again, KDB, he has his ways. He's still a 3-time race winner for the F2 Championship. He's won every race since the championship started last weekend. Yeah, I just wonder if we'll see a new race winner.
The winning drive that he did last week in Austria. Might have won, I forgot, but it was indeed a very good drive for KDB in the sprint race itself. Kept his cool and just waited for everyone in front to make mistakes or run wide, and he just laid into the corners and took the positions out of them, just like taking candies from babies.
Indeed.
He's just the professional here. I think he has the experience to backing up, and rookies have something to prove today. And let's hope some of them can prove KDB wrong today.
Yeah, and the one rookie closest to doing that is Dark Legacy, but he was 13 seconds off KDB in the feature race. Let's hope he keeps it as close as possible to KDB. Of course, he'll be starting in front of him. Who finished P8? It seems to have crossed my mind.
It was Gambler.
Okay.
Gambler finished P8.
Gambler, yes.
So he's going to be getting the pole here. And let's hope he gets some good points at least.
Yeah.
You know, turn 1 is always a place for, turn 1 incidents. That's what we call it.
Yes.
And another formation lap as they go on to warm up their tires. Let's have a look at their tire selection for the race.
Surprising to see.
Interesting choice here. RB Fairlow and SV11, the only two drivers to be on the mediums, and that's a very, very long shot to go on the mediums as well, as we have seen in the previous in the race 1 last weekend. Going on the harder tire definitely helps you to extend the stint and attack at the end. RB Fairlow, SV11, they'll be looking to get some moves done early on and probably just hold it back up till the end.
Yeah, and the likes of Smoke, who's probably starting for the first time on the front row in a league race alongside Gambler. The start's going to be pretty interesting, but I reckon RB Ferrello is going to get one hell of a start and lead going into turn 1.
Yep, the medium tires will be the fastest tire at the start, giving him the best grip he wants. And he has to make use of this opportunity to get into P1 and pull away a gap. In case his tires lose all the performance at the end, he will have the time buffer to it. But as always, we never know what happens into turn 1. We will only know in a few moments.
Yeah, as the drivers come across the final corner, they'll line up on the grid soon enough. Big Man Joe starts at their last P11. He's got SV11 for company. Baby Shumi right ahead. KDB in P8, Dark Legacy, Wex, Advik Reddy, Hyox 24, and up in the top 3, Gambler, Smoke, and RB Ferrello. Turn 1's going to be interesting, and let's hope for a cleaner start this time. Let's hope everybody reaches turn 1, and soon enough, we'll have one hell of a race in our hands. For the bunch of y'all watching, make sure you hit that like if you haven't already, and subscribe as well if you're new here, because KDB is set for quite the climb. Now, without glitches, this time around, 5 lights will go out soon enough, and Gambler will have the start from the first grid box, but Smoke's got the more brilliant start, and he's leading this race already. RB Ferrello seems to have fumbled, and Advik Reddy closes in on RB Ferrello, and Advik Reddy 3 abreast into turn 1.
He's falling down. He's had an incident in the middle of the straight, and he's down into last position. Mr. Vex had a pretty good position starting the race. He's down to P11. He has to make a recovery drive now. Up front, Smoke takes the lead away from Gambler. Looks to get away and build the lead. RB Ferrello keeps the P3. However, he needs to get the move done early on.
Yeah, we're going to continue to see everybody within half a second of each other at least. I mean, let's stay on board KDB, who's trying to get down the inside or around the outside, wherever the gap exists of Hyrox24, who he himself is closing in on Advik Reddy. So, might just be a double pass by KDB soon enough. Contact between Hyrox24 and he goes into KDB.
It's KDB. KDB just recovers in time, loses the position to Dark Legacy though. Big Man Joe gets a pass on him as well. We'll have to see if KDB has any damage or will he carry on onto the next lap.
I'm sure there was a bit of damage, but Dark Legacy and Big Man Joe capitalizing on that case of KDB and Hyrox24, that incident.
KDB has dived into the pits, definitely a wing change coming on and probably diving on to get the medium tires, perhaps do a recovery drive.
Yeah, that's all you can hope for.
And no, he is still going on to the hards. So fresher hards compared to his rivals on track might give him slight pace advantage and perhaps a bit more performance to attack towards the end. Gets the pit stop done in a sprint race. Not the most ideal situation, but he gets on with it. Mr. Vex box as well. This is going to be.
Yep. So
back.
Vex and KDB actually had an incident. In the part where we saw that Vex spun out, he got a slow start and KDB just straight away drove into him, and that is the reason he had just changed his wings. So that's what happened at the start.
On our screen, it was an incident between Hyrox24 and KDB though.
I don't think so. It was not KDB, no. It was Smoke.
And Smoke
Interesting.
fighting into turn 1 here. As we just speak about them, here we are. They're serving us a battle here.
Almost brings Smoke to a complete stop, and Gambler gets the pass on Smoke as well. And just like that, RB Ferrello leads this race. And right behind, the battle continues. Dark Legacy trying to get the best exit out of that corner, trying his best to take that fight to the front runners who are Smoke and Advik Reddy right ahead of him. But Advik Reddy's got DRS as well on Smoke going in the next corner. He should be incredibly careful. There was contact as well. Dark Legacy might just lose a bit of time.
Smoke runs wide. Advik Reddy runs down the outside and gets a move down on Smoke. What a sequence of incidents. Getting tapped and then getting a move on onto a car that's going wide. Big Man Joe, meanwhile, gets a move on Dark Legacy, and Big Man Joe is looking to attack the top 4. Might be a win coming his way, but if there's anything the rookies has to prove, this might be the race. With KDB all the way back, 40 seconds to the next car ahead of him. It looks like the win, even points in a top 8 finish might be a little too far. Dark Legacy boxes. Interesting there.
While it
had some incident here.
Yeah, but his teammate continues to take that battle to the front to Smoke, in fact, who cuts him off real well. And SV11 gets that jump in position as well, capitalizing on Big Man Joe's fumble. There's contact between him and Smoke, I'm sure. And the race continues up in front. Gambler closing in well within half a second of RB Ferrello.
Pretty close and tight up front. RB Ferrello finally gets into the lead. As we just noticed, he is on the mediums, so he's trying to pull away. He definitely has to get the 1 second off of Gambler and get out of the DRS zone. Otherwise, Gambler is just going to be dragged along, and it's just advantage.
Yeah, and I need to cut you off because there was almost a 3-way battle. Big Man Joe, Smoke, and SV11 going to the next corner, final corner, in fact. And there's contact between Big Man Joe and SV11, and SV11 goes spinning into the barriers, and he's possibly out of the race. No front wing. He's pointing the wrong way, and he's beached on the gravel.
Safety car. Safety car has been called out in the sprint race. It's a chance for KDB to fight back. The field will bunch up. Dark Legacy, Mr. Vex, the 3 guys who were up for a win, they're all at the back of the field right now. Well, everyone take this chance to dive in and get the fresh set of mediums and fight it out in the last few laps. KDB definitely looks like he's going to do it.
Yeah. Ironically, we see the safety car out somewhere behind Baby Shumi. And yeah, soon enough, RB Ferrello will be lining up behind it. But yeah, this changes things, doesn't it? Puts KDB in a brilliant spot.
Right on with KDB. He is jumping in the pits. Dark Legacy continues. He just had the fresh hearts on. So KDB taking his chances here. Considering his pace, he definitely wants to challenge the win with a fresher set of tires here. He goes on to the mediums. Vex picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Also has the same idea as KDB. Holds up KDB, just a slight moment there. And that might actually hinder KDB. Oh, but the safety car is far ahead. RB Fellow is going to lap KDB. And oh no, folks, this is not what we wanted to see. KDB getting lapped by the field in a sprint race. How bad can it go?
He doesn't seem to be lapped, or is he? Anyway, with the amount of glitches today, I'm just going go off of view as everyone slows down. I think there was wing damage yet again, and this time around, is it for KDB? Yes, he's lost an end plate.
Not going well for the champion, isn't it? And he looks like he's letting everyone through again. Indeed, KDB has been lapped. He's down into P10, and can't be any worse for today. I hope for him. Oh man, he's having a nightmare today.
Yeah, indeed. And I wonder what caused that wing damage. We'll find out post race, I'm sure. I think there was a bit of a glitch, but then again, you never know. RB Ferrero leads this race on lap number 6. 6 laps left. Both the drivers we expected, in fact, all 3 drivers we expected to have quite the momentum from the start of the race, who are Dark Legacy, Vex, KDB, see themselves at the bottom of the order. Interesting, to say the least.
Actually, KDB has dived for another set of tires and a new wing change.
Mr. Vex passes the safety car, trying to unlap himself, I presume.
Well in effort, however, safety car bugs out as always. Would be great if he can unlap himself, and that will give him some fighting chance in the final few laps. And looks like he has managed to unlap himself. Huh, interesting there.
Lap number 7. Avi Ferrello leads KDB in the pits along with Baby Shumi as well. They're going to be out. Baby Shumi especially out on the fresh set of hards. Fresh set of mediums for KDB. Things might just work out in his favor after all.
Yep, however, he is a lap down by the looks of it. So, gonna expect some more incidents. If someone DNFs, someone crashes out, probably he's gonna get some more points than what he's expecting today. But up front, Advik ready. In P3, the rookie looks like he's set to take P2 or even P1. RB Fellow gets a lifeline with this safety car and extends the life of his tires. Might just make it till the end on the mediums. Might just be the only thing he needs right now. Safety car still staying on another lap. So chance for the last three drivers here to catch up to the safety car. And,
you mentioned Advik Reddy, and Advik Reddy has a penalty looming over his head as well. So possibly might just miss out on a podium if Hyrox24 can make sure he's close enough. And as I say that, Hyrox24 seems to have fallen short of a position which is highly unusual considering it is under safety car. But yeah, Hyrox24 and Smoke seem to be the drivers to capitalize, who can capitalize on Advik Reddy's penalty.
Although saying that, Advik Reddy did get a 5-second penalty during the safety car period. So as we all know, the game loves to bug out and give necessary 5-second penalties. So let's not hope that the penalty will be remaining. If it gets removed at the end, Advik Reddy might be actually looking for a serious podium here.
Yep.
So
safety car in this lap
to get the move on.
Safety car in this lap, and RB Ferrer doing his best to bunch up the field. Slows down incredibly into sector 3. He knows going into the final corner, he wants everyone to be close enough so he can steer away. He is weaving, making sure his tires are up to temperature that he like. And yeah, everyone's gonna be closer than ever. Of course, Vex and KDB incredibly far.
They finally caught up to the queue at the end of the lap. And here we go. We're gonna have 4 laps of racing. KDB looking to get a jump on and unlaps himself. Gets stepped though.
Yep, we're back racing. RB Ferrero leads the race on lap number 9, and possibly going into turn 1, we might just see 3 cars abreast. Will we? Around the outside goes Gambler, and Smoke runs wide, I presume. Advik Reddy hangs on to P3, but the battle up front continues between Gambler and RB Ferrero. Quite the mix-up in the midfield as Hyrox24 seems to have lost quite the positions, goes wide as well. Big Man Joe goes up in a P5.
And on track, KDB, because he's ghosted, I mean, he's lapped down and he's ghosted, so he's making use of the tires and just coasting through everybody. So this might be just the opportunity for him to get away from the cars behind and perhaps pull a bit of gap where he needs.
Yep, and on board Dark Legacy as the battle behind him between Hyrox24 and Baby Shumi continues. There's contact between Baby Shumi and Hyrox24. Hyrox24 manages to keep it on track, and Dark Legacy just needed that to steer away with just that much of a gap more. Sector 3 lights up yellow, and I wonder what's wrong there. And it's gone already.
Runs wide. White smoke that ran wide.
Up in front,
Up
game
front,
low.
Game lane, RB Fellow into turn 1, side by side. Meanwhile, the ghost car of KDB is just interfering with their battle here. It's interesting to see how the game's glitches are serving us a treat today, huh?
Yep, it did. KDB picks up the fastest lap.
KDB with that fresh mediums. Just imagine if he wasn't lapped down, he would have been challenging for the race win at the end of this race. 3 laps to go, 2.5 here.
Yep, and on board Big Man
KDB
Joe. He's trying to
really-
peek. He's trying to peek down the inside, trying to find a gap to Advik Reddy as well. But Advik Reddy's put himself in a horrible position considering all the penalties with 2 laps left, and he's got 4 cars within a second, or just over a second of him. Should have everything he needs going in the next corner. Big Man Joe around the outside this time around. Advik Reddy makes sure he's in the center of the track, making sure Big Man Joe doesn't quite have the advantage, and trying his best to deny slipstream to Big Man Joe as well.
However, that effort is futile. Big Man Joe gets into the toe and goes down the inside. Very, very tight into turn 1. Makes it through. And Dark Legacy, Advik Reddy just has to yield the position for now. He is on some time penalty here. And probably the best thing would be to just follow Big Man Joe.
Yeah, I mean, the front runners who we mentioned earlier on, who we expected to have a positive result going into the sprint race as well, were Vex, Dark Legacy and KDB. Clearly not the sprint race they had hoped for. But yeah, things are looking up for the likes of Big Man Joe, Gamler and RB Ferrello. They find themselves in the top 3.
Well, KDB is ahead on track, however, on track position wise, he's definitely not first. So I guess he'll take that as a lead in his books for a change after a miserable and eventful race.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. Definitely he hoped for a better race, as on the main straight, Hyrox24 down the inside of Advik Reddy. Advik Reddy trying his best to push Hyrox24 to the limit and down into turn 1. Who will come out in front of the other? It's Hyrox24, who's had a decent enough exit to hold on to that P4 position as Advik Reddy struggles to keep it on track.
Baby Shumi and Smoke had that incident, and Baby Shumi has been spun off. And he loses positions, keeps his P7.
Dark Legacy.
And that is the last lap. KDB, however, since he managed to unlap himself, will have another lap to go after this. Just in case someone wins it at the end, he may just gain one or 2 more positions at the end.
Yeah, perhaps. But that gap not looking too great for him. So one can only hope. Let's jump quickly on board Dark Legacy, because it seems like he's the one who might just be able to pick off a position or 2 going into this final lap of this race. But RB Ferrello comes across the final corner. He wins the sprint race of Bahrain Short Circuit.
Legacy on the straight gets the toe and gets the DRS and makes the move up into P5. Dark Legacy naps it at the end of the race. Ultimate ready with the 5-second penalty, drops down the grid into P7.
We can't say it wasn't entertaining, but probably not the best races for most of the drivers on the grid. Ain't that right, Dalvin?
Yep, and it seemed like KDB might have slowed down at the end there to let
Yep.
Mr. Vex pass, whoever the leader was, to let pass again and spare himself the misery of driving an unnecessary extra lap. So, good race, plenty of drama here. Leaders not doing well, and we got some new faces on the podium today.
Yep, we got driver of the day as Big Man Joe as well, rightfully so. P11 to P3, and Gambler getting that podium. He did start P3 and finishing he did start P1 in fact, didn't he? And he finished P2, and like I mentioned, RB Ferro, he picked off the lead of the race, probably going into lap 2 or 3, and managed to hold on to it like you'd expect him to, and wins this race as well. Another rookie.
SB11, another DNF for him in the sprint race. He had a DNF in the feature race as well. Has not been the best of weekends for him. We probably hope to forget this.
Pretty sure he's not been having the best of outings with the F2 cars, and I'm looking forward to see what everyone will be saying post race, of course. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the sprint race, and all in all, the Bahrain short circuit seems like we had quite a bit of issue, multiple issues in fact, with the game, with the stream, and all around. And I'm pretty sure a couple of the drivers will mention issues on their side as well. But for the three of y'all who watched till the very end, thank you very much. We'll see you again next weekend.
Thank you,
Cheers,
folks.
Darwin.
Have a good day. Cheers, man. Have a good day. Bye-bye.